6 o'clock GMT. So let's get started. I'm sure people will join us as we go. So let's get started with dollar index. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's go. Not much has really changed, to be honest. The way how I'm seeing it, compared to my last and the weekly outlook, I'm not seeing too much in terms of differences from the market. I'm especially talking about the dollar pairs and the yen pairs. I'm still not seeing too much of a confirmation yet. So I'll go over a few, okay, but like I said, not much has changed, okay, not much has changed, and I'm more going to be on the sideline, okay, more patient on a little bit more development on them, okay. Some does look like can be some potentials, but personally, I'm just going to be a little bit more cautious and just waiting for a little bit more development. All right, so let's get started. Dollar index. You've been this whole week I've been talking about. I see the dollar index and all in kind of two different ways. Either either my original analysis is more like the dollar strength. We broke out from this descending kind of channel, and then there's continuation for the price. And then in the latest kind of a few days or so, I've been talking about that also forming this kind of a ascending channel. And if we zoom on a high time frame, we can still see the price action movement. This could just be a bigger correction to correct this move and potentially see the next down move. Okay, so that's why I'm more just a little bit more patient on this. Like I can see this go either way, and it's just hasn't price hasn't really shown us anything yet that's going to confirm. I do see, I think some of you guys in the Telegram, I do see what you guys are saying, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, and then a deeper kind of a descending channel structure, so a correction to correct this move. And potentially we can see the next up move, right? I think most of us are seeing it this way. But and there's also an inverse head and shoulder as well. Okay, so I do like the bullish on dollar, by just also taking into consideration that we're not really pushing on higher, and just right before we break the previous high, this is the area where I mentioned once we break the previous high, out of this correction here, we want to wait for a correction here to take the trade. But instead, we don't see that price instead form, like a head and shoulder pattern here on the intraday. So, and then price start dropping down, dropping down, dropping down, right? So that's why I want to be just extra careful on this. I can see it go either way when I'm seeing, especially dollar index or some of the yen pairs seeing it the same way like that. Usually just trying to stay out a little bit, just trying to be a little bit more cautious. Don't want to get trapped in between because price can either just go up and go down and go up during this consolidation, and I don't want to get trapped in this area. All right, so that's dollar index. So go over a few dollar pair that I do believe some of you guys are talking about it in the chat, in the Telegram, and I'll go over them relatively quickly because I don't see uh, too much. I do see what some of you guys are saying, right? We have this impulse, we have this correction on the lower time frame. We have this kind of correctional structure, and there's a potential head and shoulder pattern here developing as well. Then obviously we know it's a price can slowly coming down. It can break this channel structure and then for lower time frame correction and push the price down. So I do see this is a valid trade, a possible trade as well. Okay, but because I'm looking at dollar index the same as because euro dollar and dollar index are pretty much mirror. Dollar index when I'm seeing this kind of price action where it could have go both way, and euro dollar on the other hand could potentially continue trigger up as well, right? Channel correction for a longer period of time before the come down. So not too interesting until either a breakout from there, a correction here would be ideal to take the trade and see what price will do at the bottom here, and then reevaluate this trade. So that's euro dollar, pound dollar. Pound dollar, we're still seeing this as the impulsive move, and this is potentially a correctional structure. And I mentioned this in the previous stream, I believe. The confluence I don't like is either, it's the first one is we didn't break this previous low, which is the previous kind of the bottom of this overall high time frame channel, and we're potentially forming this inverse head and shoulder as well. So obviously a reversal kind of pattern structure, and that's why it's holding me off a little bit on the potential sell. I do see on the higher time frame, definitely there is that potential. This could be just a correction to correct this move, and we could get the next down move like so. The confirmation for me would be just kind of see what the price would area into a lower time frame. It is kind of forming a head and shoulder, similar like euro dollar I just went over, and waiting for that breakout and then waiting for a lower time frame correction would be the more ideal choice for me. But it's not my favorite. Okay, I'll go over the ones that are favor and the one that is looking better. That's why it's more in green. It's kind of my secondary choices. Let's look at dollar CAD really quick. So dollar CAD, if we zoom, so you guys recall that I was looking at this as a potential continuation to the upside, right? Because we had this overall correction, correction, impulse, and then small correction here to potentially push up. But however, we can see that prices was reacting to this top, right? And if we really just zoom in down now, we had this correction becomes a reversal structure. So reversal correction, we push the price down, and now we're forming this kind of expanding kind of structure. And to be honest, we just think that this is a very like a continuation correction for this move, and we're getting more downside like so. All right. Like I said, originally I was looking at this as the bullish push, right? But I have to adjust to what the price is telling me. Okay, what price is telling me is that price is potentially finding this as a double top and correctional structure, ended up become a reversal down to the downside, and then potentially a continuation structure here developing, and more downside is probable. So if I was looking for this trade, I want to see what happened to break the low, lower time frame correction would be the more ideal sell. And I do think there is a pretty good risk reward down to the lows here. And the reason being, if I just zooming out here, I was originally obviously seeing the dollar CAD like this. We had this descending channel, pop the loss, I continue. I started looking at just out, started zooming out a little bit, and I just don't see how. Uh, Usually, when I look at a double bottom, I want to see the double bottom at least either hit it or break it. Break it is usually the best. Okay, break the double bottom and then start finding reversal opportunity to the top. I just didn't see that break, and looking at this at the recent latest price action, okay, I have to adjust to what the price is telling me, right? Even though before I had this bullish price action kind of a bias, but if I see this, what I'm seeing, then yeah, I do see this downside, at least short term, is very probable, right? The short is very probable down to this low, and price can potentially just form a larger, deeper structure. Back again, continue downwards, just forming a larger structure, something as large as this, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, and then a larger correction, and then waiting for the next impulse. Okay, so that is dollar CAD. Looks dollar CAD would be a little bit better than the other two. Okay, so that is pretty much all the dollar pair I'm looking at. Not too much that is on my attention. Let's go over a few other Aussie one. I think there's a few Aussie that looks pretty good. Aussie CAD would be one of them. Recall I'm looking at the structure more on a higher time frame base now. So I see this as actually overall bullish move. And we're just forming a larger kind of a parallel channel structure. And the one that gives me more confluence is that when I see a strong kind of an M style pattern like this, when originally I remember some of you guys got into the sell on the Aussie CAD, we went down, we broke this low, and then when I mentioned watch out what happened when the price is at this low, is it going to break it and then form some sort of continuation? Then yes, we're definitely looking for more downside. But instead form a reversal kind of price action here. The double bottom here works out well. We had this bullish push up and potentially just a descending kind of correctional structure and looking for continuation. Looking at intradays, do you like what's happening now? Do you think there is bullish activity coming in? We had this impulse, large correction, and if we look at like this overall piece here, this looks to me as an inverse head and shoulder. This right shoulder is just a descending channel on the lower time frame, and we're seeing bullish activity here. So how I would approach this? Well, I'll just wait for a complete breakout from here. So I'm waiting for the price to pop out and then some sort of lower time frame correction to get in the buy. And I do think there's a lot of opportunity here, even after we break out of the overall correction. Even for this trade, in my opinion, this can get a pretty decent sized risk reward, and there is plenty of room to the upside. And price is in the impulsive, looking for the next impulse on the lower time frame. So that's Aussie CAD. This one looks pretty good. And Aussie Kiwi. So I heard you guys talk about Aussie Kiwi in my Telegram. I am in Aussie Kiwi, by the way. I'll go over the trade. I think I saw some of you guys were talking about this. Was hesitate to enter due to wasn't sure or was looking for me to give my opinion on it. To be honest, I think somebody else also said, and I'll give the same answer: is if that was in your trading plan to execute a trade, execute the trade accordingly. All right, you don't need to follow me or get my confirmation on it. Right, I know it's good to see what I'm doing, but if that was your trade to enter after this breakout and after this lower time frame correction, then look for that enter, right? So personally, I was a little bit off on this one because, as you guys know, this is my first trade from this new account, right? I was planning to set an entry order just above this correction here, but I kind of just missed it. But I missed it by accident. So I just this was my entry all along anyway. So I just enter a little bit, a few more pips above, and just had a wider stop. But that's fine with me. I'm still going to get more than 3 to 1 on this. So I'm looking at the top as my overall target. This is about 4.3 to 1. So that fits my trading plan. And then overall, I talk about this in this post here. We have this overall impulsive move, longer time, kind of higher time frame, parallel channel. And we had this also inverse head and shoulder as well. And on the lower time frame, this is clearly a impulsive move, and we just have a higher kind of a flag kind of a structure. Had this double bottom as well, price bullish out of this overall lower time frame structure and the higher time frame structure, and just looking for any lower time frame correction to get in the buy. So I got in this buy. Like I said, I was a few pips off. So just a wider stop loss for me. I think it's 35 or 36. I forgot 35. I believe. 30. I think it's 35. This is the trade I'm entering, and then looking for the region top. The region top would be my ideal kind of target. So just to see what the price will do at this general area. Obviously, if I see continuous bullish move, then I would move my target, because on a higher time frame, I do see this breaking above this high, potentially reaching the previous daily high. So there's a few more risk reward there for me if I do see bullish momentum. So that is Aussie Kiwi. Good morning, by the way, guys. Good morning. Nice to see you guys. Greeting from Melbourne. Nice to see you, Ferdy. So that is Aussie Kiwi. Let's move on to the yen pairs. Okay, there's not too much for me on the yen pairs. I'll explain this why, because I know some of you guys are saying this is a head and shoulder, and I do agree it's a head and shoulder. Okay, but I just don't think this is all the correction. It's going to come down like this. Usually, based on my experience, we come down and then continue forming a larger structure like this, and I just don't think there's enough risk reward for me to justify a trade here anyways. So happy just to be a little bit more on the sideline and just waiting for a little bit more development. Same thing with CAD yen. Recall I was looking at CAD yen somewhere here, waiting for the breakout and then lower time frame correction. Never happened, and that's sometimes happened in trading, right? I enter because it didn't have the confirmation I need, then then move on for another trade, right? So still looking at this, still see what the price is going to do. Is it going to continue trickle up to the top now and see what the 2 to the double top here, potentially an M style pattern, and looking for some sort of reversal down. Otherwise, then just happy to stay out of the trade. And same thing with Euro yen or Swiss yen. Pretty much in just kind of a ascending kind of formation, just not yet ready to me anyways. So I'm not looking to buy or sell at this moment. Okay, I think some of you guys are looking at this a potential reversal structure. Okay, I do see what you mean. This is an M style pattern and potentially a double top here. And this could be just a correction before the next impulse down. Probable, yes, but personally, just I would wait for the breakout and then down. I don't mind missing some pips here, but the confirmation breakout will help me to eliminate some losses here. Okay, I'm not saying that it won't go down, but sometimes it will go down like this and then just continue back up and so, and just tagging a lot of trades out and then finally drop down. And if you're in this consolidation, maybe you enter 1 or 2 trades and you lost some money and you kind of exit, or you keep this off your watch list and still drop after. So why not just be a little bit more patient and wait for the confirmation to break out and look for the next trade. So not much in yen, same thing. Still not seeing too much unless I see that breakout and then continue downwards. Other than that, just happy to sit there. I do see there is potential structure here, potential ascending, so this can go down, right? But I'll wake up in the New York session and I'll see what the price will do, and then I can still get in some trades here to the downside. So that's pound yen, Kiwi yen. Kiwi yen, like I said, was the only kind of yen pair that I see still bullish. I think this one was brought up a lot. I still see this as a potential something that can happen. Not yet, but overall price action, well, still like the higher time frame that we're just kind of getting a double bottom here, and price maybe just continue this bullish move, and see what the lower time frame, it's a little bit stalling. Okay, so probably equal amount of strength of buyer and seller at this point now, and I won't be interested until I see a little bit more breakout like this and potential breakout and then continuation. But other than that, just be on the sideline for this one because it's already contradicting, right? So when I'm seeing kind of contradicting price action, and if it's not like best setup to me or like my go-to setup, then happy to let this one go. So let's move on to Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie recalls looking for a sell from here. I've never got into any of these trades, but what the price is doing now is kind of forming a potential double top here now. So potential reason double top, or you want to call this triple top. The point is that we're forming reversal structure potentially if the price push up like this, and we see an M style pattern, and top of the overall correction, and looking for a reversal down, reversal kind of a impulsive move, and looking for a first correction to push the price down. Still looking very clean to me. Okay, I'll go over Euro Kiwi just after because they're pretty identical. And just looking at the overall price action, I just still enjoy looking at the overall price action like this. And the more that it consolidates in this area, the more it gives you a better sell opportunity or the sell momentum. It didn't get all the way pushed down here, so we just know that this correction is still valid and the price is still developing, and that if this continue going upward like this, I do believe this can be a very good trade to the downside. So that's EuroCAD. Euro Kiwi, very similar idea. You guys recall I was in Euro Kiwi in one of this trade here. Let me see if I still have it. Oh, sorry. This was in, I mentioned this in the Telegram, right? Enter in the sell over here, was holding the trade even it was forming this correction, and then we had this push down, and then once price began to form this channel, and I moved my stop above that, right? And you just see that, and I acknowledge from the market that, hey, this sell move isn't the one that's going to continue and break out this correction. A bigger correction is needed, so I accept what the market is telling me. So take a profit here, and then look for the next sell opportunity, because I still see this as a very good sell from the higher time frame. We're just pretty much at the top now, and we're forming this exactly M style pattern I talk about. We break the recent top, which is good, and price pretty much move up in this ascending channel formation. So that's also a good indication as well. So pretty much all I want to look for is it going to form some sort of correction here? Okay, some sort of correction here would be pretty much my go-to setup. We have this head and shoulder pattern at the top as well. So just pretty much structures and structures, patterns and patterns. It's all kind of leaning towards this potential sell. And higher time frame wise, still like the impulse correctional structure and looking for the next impulse. And look to see what the price would do at this previous low first, and then see if the price can continue down more. So do believe Euro Kiwi is pretty much my favorite, and it's pretty much going to be ready now or soon, or in London session or New York session. So definitely want this move if I do catch it, or if I'm awake for that. So because I'm in Vancouver, those of you guys know I'm pretty much going to sleep later, so I might not catch this move, but I might not. So we'll see. Okay. So that's Euro Kiwi, and that's pretty much all the currency pairs. I don't see much in the other ones, so don't have anything watching on these ones. So Euro Kiwi is my best. Euro Aussie is good, but does need a little bit more time, it looks like. And I mean Aussie Kiwi, I mentioned this. So Aussie Kiwi and Aussie Kai is good as well. Just need probably this takes probably the next session to New York session and see what happens here. And that's it. And dollar CAD is just a breakdown below here, and then looking for lower time frame correction. Still not my favorite. I mean, at least these dollar ones are not really my favorite. It's the Euro, Kiwi, and Aussie CAD looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna go to commodities. Yeah, I'm gonna go over pound dollar. I mean, not pound dollar. I'm gonna go over gold now. Yeah, let's go over gold first. So I'm assuming you're looking at the gold sell like this or whatever, right? We have this break out of this channel, we have this impulse, and looking for a correction to sell. I'm assuming you're looking at this that way. Reading from Nigeria, nice to see you, buddy. I recognize your name from my Telegram. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do see your mirror. I do see this is the impulse. I do see this is a correction, and then this is the next impulse. You're potentially in the impulsive stage of the lower time frame. So if you're looking at this sell, yeah, I do think it's valid, but are you saying you can get risk reward of 6 down to here? Because it looks pretty tight to me. I don't know what your stop is. I don't know how you're getting in and stuff, but I personally I won't be, because we're getting to this low already, and I don't see much reward in this sense unless you're pretty tight stop loss. I don't know how you're setting it, or you might be selling below this level. I'm not sure, because I'm just looking at this level from my personal point of view is that if I was going to sell, I don't want this low to be so close to my profit, right? I don't get stop off on the market, so I don't like that. Okay. So any other question on investing this hour by at this moment on gold at least? Not too much is clear to me. That's why I'm just going to be on the sideline for this one. Recall last, or in sorry, not last, my last Asian session outlook, I talk about how yes, there's a merit to see gold that this is the bullish move and we're in this bullish kind of a continuation correction, and this potentially could pop up, right? This is one way of seeing gold. And then if you're looking at lower time frame, this is the other way of seeing gold, right? It could potentially just continue to drop down like this. Right? Who to say this won't be the breakout, and we continue, we form like a lower low, and then continuation correction, and we continue down. That's also a possibility as well. But because we had this previous though that was reacted to this drop, right? So I'm not too interesting to trade through this area. Okay, I happy to see price break it, and if it's going for a correction here, that would just be my trade all the time to just have that exfluence out. All right. Yeah, so let's move on. So that's pretty much all I'm looking at. There's not too much commodity I'm looking at. Okay, same thing with silver. I think someone asked me silver as well. It's pretty similar like gold, right? This is gold and this is silver. We had this impulse down, we had this correction, but again, like the sell could be limited, right? There is potential sell. I'm not saying that the gold won't sell. I mean, like the gold trade that you talk about, I'm sure it can also be a sell, right? I'm just saying that the profit level for me is kind of limited. Okay, this is always where I would take my profit anyways, and I just don't think it can be a very good stop loss for me to trade and get at least 3 to 1. That's just in my plan. I don't want to, risk a trade that I may not get 3 to 1 to the lows. And happy to sit out, even though I know there's a good chance it can come down. But once it breaks the low, what if it forms some sort of reversal and we start coming up? All sorts of things are possible. So for me, happy to stay out for natural gas. Sure. Yeah, I talk about natural gas a few times, but I kind of just stopped talking about it. Sorry, because I'm not seeing too much, and it's pretty slow in terms of development, and that's maybe why I kind of skip it or just kind of stop talking about it. But I still see that a bullish opportunity is potential possible, right? We still see this as a potential impulsive move, and then this is a little bit slanted kind of like correction, but it is a correction nevertheless. And if we zoom in here, is this forming something here? Maybe it just doesn't look very clear to me, okay? Because we had this push down, we had this push up. It's a little bit radical. You can see this as a correction as well. This is an impulsive move. This is a correction to go down, right? There's a few ways of looking at this. So it's not too clear to me at least. Although, yes, it looks like this is a correction to continue, but the lower time frame kind of tell me otherwise, okay? A little bit on this. Okay, so that's me. That's my take on natural gas. So that is all the commodities, guys. Let's jump into a few equities. Those of you who are into equities, I'll jump into a few ones that I think is look good. The few one I actually I posted one on Netflix. I do like the overall kind of at the overall top of the overall price action, right? There's nothing else below it. We're just at the top now. We had this overall large correction, which is good. So we had this large correction to correct this move. And then lately we have this another impulse correction. There's also a small correction here. So what I like about it, and I mentioned this as well, that we had this impulsive move. We're just in this kind of period consolidation. And I do see potential two kind of opportunity. You can either wait for the price to come down more and develop a little bit more structure for the buy, or you can just wait for the breakout and then lower time frame correction to continue the buy. Either way, I do see both are very likely to happen. So I'll pay attention on this one. So that's Netflix. Tesla. I think Tesla is pretty much talk of the town, right? So I do see Tesla as a potential buy as well. Okay, there's again very similar like Netflix I just went over. There's just very similar. It's like very similar like the previous buy I was in, right? If you look at it, we just had a clear impulse of a high time frame correction, and we had the first breakout, first correction. This is where I get in, and we're looking at the same. We had this next impulse up, but we're just in this kind of a pennant or a triangle kind of structure, looking for that breakout, looking for that lower time frame correction for the buy. If not, then look for this kind of a move down to either the bottom of this kind of triangle or waited for the bottom of this previous low. And all it is that the structure is just evolving to something, and we're just getting a previous low. We'll break the double bottom and then potentially fully bullish activity to continue. Just making this is the overall structure as this, and we'll continue the upside. So either way, I'm just looking for the buy opportunity, but looking for a little bit more confirmation from the market. So that is Tesla. Just shorted Polonia yesterday on top of daily chunk. Yeah, I can look at SPX and Dow Jones after. I'll just go through a few of these equities first. Yeah, Zoom. So Zoom, looking pretty clean. I'm still looking for more upside. Recall, there's a post I made. Yeah, there's a post I made here that I didn't get into this one, but there was some gapping, right? And I mentioned wait for the price to kind of fill the gap pretty much, right? Once we fill the back, and then we begin to see this bullish activity. So we are in the structure now, which is good. I'm just looking for more upside and looking for the breakout and looking for continuation. So that's Zoom. Looks pretty good on just pretty much similar like Tesla and Netflix. And that's pretty much it. I think Baba, yeah, so Baba very similar. Just you can see these structures forming and you can know that there's continuations. We've been kind of pretty much in this bullish move already since even after this COVID time, right? We had this COVID drop, but there's not even a big drop. If you look at this, This compared to some of the other indices or some of the other equities and stuff like that, this is not too much. This is just a small correction. The price is already kind of trimming up, going up like this, right? So potentially this is another continuation structure that price is always going to form before the next up move. So waiting for the breakout, which is pretty much happening yesterday already. So wait for a little bit breakout and wait for the buy. So that is Alibaba. And that is pretty much it for equities, guys. Yeah, someone mentioned about a few indices. Sure. So let's look at S&P 500. I still see this as a potential structure. Okay, so don't get me wrong, this can still be bearish. However, you can see that we're forming potential head and shoulder. We're not really forming any bearish activity now. It's more like stalling. And I mentioned this in Asia session that yes, this can be a impulse, this can be a correction, right? This is one way of seeing it. And then this potentially is forming some sort of ascending channel. Okay, so this is all good, okay? But there's just a little bit indecisive in terms of market. We're not seeing the kind of the impulse that I would want to see from a market that's trending. Okay, so if I want to see impulse correction, I want to see this impulse down and then more correction to continue lower. Instead, this is a little bit more reversal price action and price is just stalling in this area. Even if this breaks down, okay, this doesn't mean that it's going to start going down like this. It might just break down and then potentially hit the lows here and just forming a bigger structure. Okay, so for now, I'm not too interested in neither of them. If for the short while I see this sell, if we can see this price push down, breaking out of this ascending channel, then yeah, a lower time frame correction here would confirm a little bit more sell. All right, so that is S&P 500 as right. Very similar. This is kind of the similar kind of structure. It's just stalling in this area, and all this previous price action looks very identical to S&P. So my take will be the same. Not interesting to buy just to see what the price will do with the lower time frame correction. Then look to see what the price will do as it continues down. So that's NAS. Any question on these ones, guys? US 30, yeah. So similar thing as well. This is kind of that ascending kind of channel structure that I'm looking at. And still seeing this kind of inverse kind of a head and shoulder as well. We broke out this channel, which is good, but we are forming this kind of more corrective structure, okay? The longer of this go, it's better, okay? But I want to see the first breakout and then first lower time frame correction. Very similar like the NASDAQ and S&P. This does look a little bit better, but I do think this is not ready yet. This can just trigger up a little bit longer like this, okay? So that's what I see on Dow Jones. So let's go into crypto. Crypto is my last. So this one could be interesting. Cardano. Was looking at this. I think someone pointed out this to me last time. So I was looking at this. Excuse me. That this could be an inverse head and shoulder. Very clear to me. And this is a right shoulder. And this is a clear bullish impulse. Bullish correction. Could potentially look for the next bullish push up. So excuse me, just looking for the first breakout and then first correction to go. I think that's valid for the buy. So that is Cardano, and not much has changed really. Talk about Link every time I'll talk about it again. Just looking for the confirmation breakout, confirmation correction. This can just drag on even longer, even drag on to the bottom. I'm not interested in any of that until I see that confirmation breakout. Otherwise, I'm just happy to stay out of the trade, stay out of any position, and observe the market. Ripple still waiting for a correction to form here, right? Still waiting for a larger correction to form. Okay, so larger correction is move, and then we see this bullish move up, correction, and continue upwards. That's what I want to see on Ripple, Bitcoin, and Ripple very similar, just stalling here in this area, waiting for a correction to build up and continue the buy. Other than that, not much crypto on my watch list. I think we always talk about Bitcoins, but I don't see much in Bitcoins, to be honest. I don't see much buy or sell. Okay, this potentially is forming some sort of structure here. This can be, I'm not seeing it right now. Okay, I'm not seeing that clearly. This just needs a little bit of development. I'm just not too interested when price is consolidating in that kind of area. I want the price to be giving me a little bit more confirmation that it's going to be in the impulsive stage, and I will be more interested for the buy, because this can just consolidate up and down for a bit, and you're just going to be trapped in this overall consolidations. All right, so that is Bitcoin, and that is pretty much it, guys. That is pretty much it. Any questions or anything on the crypto or anything that I went over, I'm happy to answer. Anything on Nifty 50, please? Not much. I'm not sure. What is it? Not much really. I remember someone messaged me before that they got in the sale somewhere here, right? And then they got out or whatever. That's pretty much it. The last time I updated, because see this bullish push up, then I'm no longer really looking at it. Not only because this wasn't really in my plan anymore. I was looking for impulse correction, impulse. So that already happened. It break the low and then form a double bottom and start coming up. So nothing much for me. Wasn't even looking at the buys or anything. Okay, what I would be more interesting is the price going to continue up and hitting the previous top, or pretty much the all-time top? Okay, the price pretty much had dropped from the coronavirus, and then we have people talk about from the stock market. So this V kind of uh, correction is pretty common in the equity world, I guess. And is the price going to hit this top, and what we will do? Is it going to be start reversing now, or some sort of bearish price action? Then I will be a lot more interesting. Not interested in the buy, not interested in the sell even. Waiting to see what the price will do at this general top area. So that is Nifty. Why is your bull candles red and bear candles green? Nothing really, just preference really. I'm a more visualized person. I don't like to look at the same thing over too much anyways. I periodically change my chart, and then I'll change my trend line color, I'll change my arrow color, I'll change things like that. It's just, call me a little bit more OCD or whatever you want to call it. I just like things a little bit more colorsome or change, and I change them periodically. So sometimes I'll have this, sometimes I'll have something different. It's just a preference really, nothing else. But by the way, that's a good question, because you know in Asia it's completely reversed, right? When in Asia, when they look at the market, usually the stock market, their up candle, like their bull candle, is actually red, and their bear candle is actually green. Okay, somebody can verify that for me, but that is what I see when I go to Asia. The Asia market is completely opposite than North America and Europe, kind of thing. Okay, so I didn't know that until, because I learned all this when I'm in North America. And then when I go to Asia, when I see the color all reversed, it's kind of ironic. And I was just like, huh? Like I was gonna say they're wrong, but then I'm like, no, it's not really right and wrong. It's just they look at it that way, and us North American and Europeans look at the other ways, really. So I don't know how like the Middle Eastern people, I don't know how other countries look at it, but like when I go to Asia, it's like that. But I'm assuming the rest of the world is normal, like North American, European kind of thing. They're like green for up and red for down, just like Asian is the opposite, I guess. So that's something FYI. Do I track your 15? Oh, that's a good question. Do I track your 15 trades per month on a spreadsheet or similar, separate to your trading platform? If so, what do you record for each trade? That's a good question. Usually, well, this is what I do for my other account as well, or my main account. You will record the date, right? Your enter date, your exit date, your enter time, your exit time in GMT. You enter your instrument, like whatever you're trading. Is it dollar CAD, pound yen, S&P 500, whatever instrument you're trading? Put that, and then put the lot position, whatever position, like the size position, whatever that you trade on, and then you will put a direction. So like buy at, let's say you're buying, so buy at 1.310, or you're selling, you put sell at whatever number, 0.96, right? Whatever the price is it. And then you'll put a column for profit or loss. That is how I trade. That is how I keep my journal all the time. Okay. And then once the trade, you will know your profit or loss. You'll know the end date and time, and sell at, let's say you sell at 1.31, and then let's say you're in profit. So you'll be sell at 1.31 to, let's say 1.3010. So you got 90 pips, and that's your profit. And you will write when you exit the trade. So that is what I put on a column, and then I will put screenshots before I take the shots, usually a higher time frame and lower time frame. I'll have a few description on what is my analysis on the trade. Usually I'll just copy my trading view link, because that's what I do. So I'll just copy my trading view link, and I'll have a higher time frame and lower time frame screenshot. And then I will leave a column, I will leave a space for once the trade is closed, whether in profit or loss. I'll take a screenshot of that, and I'll write a brief paragraph on my analysis, why I closed the trade. Is it because of a target, or is it because I move up my stop? How did it happen? What's my psychology behind it? What was my mindset on that trade? And then write down, was it, if it's a loss, is it a good trade to loss, or is it a trade that you just force it, right? You would review that trade as a journal, and then I'll write a small paragraph on that, and that is how I would journal each of my trade. And so that when at the end of the week or any of the month, when you want to review your trades, then you can take a look at the trades and see what you did right or what you did wrong, and can you get better at it, and can you improve on it. That is what I would do. Okay, hope you get all that. Good. So any other question, guys? Any other thing you want me to go over? Happy to answer a few questions as well. I kind of finished much sooner than I thought, because there's really not much to go over. And like I said, the main ones is Euro Kiwi and Aussie Kiwi that I'm in, and Aussie Cat. Euro Kiwi is looking pretty good. Okay, Euro Kiwi is potentially looking good. I set an alert here as well. So I'm just waiting to see what the price will do in this area. Is it going to develop some sort of correction here? That is pretty much all I need to enter this trade. Okay, I'm happy to take this trade here. Happy to take a loss here anytime, any of the day. I'll repeat. I will always take this trade regardless, guys. Just to be clear, when I see the price market like this, I would always take this trade. All right. I don't care if it's going to be a loss today, tomorrow. I will always take this trade, because I see this kind of a structure play out a lot more times, okay, probability wise, and the risk reward is very good. It fits my plan. It's a very good risk reward that I can take two trades loss, but I can still bank 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I would be in profit still. Okay, that is the key, guys. That is the key. Okay, it's not about always have to be right. You have to understand trading is just probability. Okay, that you can take the same trade, you can maybe take a one loss or two loss, but your third trade that you're going to bank on, you take 5 to 1, and 5 - 2 is 3, so you still get 3 out of this trade, right? So that is how I would see it, and I will always take this kind of trade, because potentially another setup like this can happen on Euro Aussie, okay, and then Euro Aussie would play out, right? And I'm happy to take the trade over and over again, because these setup I see over and over again as well. I know I keep repeating it, but I'm just trying to make a point is that I do it without hesitation, because I backtest myself. I see these kind of pattern all the time, and I understand how price action works. Okay, and that's why I'm right. Backtesting, what is that in practice? Just looking for a similar setup? Well, what you want to do is, you guys all have TradingView. You guys can all use this replay button, yes? Right, so this replay button is how you can just kind of scroll back the charts. You can replay to a certain time, and what you want to do is, you kind of already know what is going to happen, yes? So you're replaying to back and to see, if I see a structure play out, is it going to play out or is it not going to play out? The more structure you see, and then the more you see it happen, that's easy. That's going to help you to pretty much program your brain so that the next time you see the same setup, you're going to execute it. You're not going to be fear. You're not going to fear of missing out, or you're not going to be in an unknown situation. You're not sure what to do. The same structure play out over and over again, right? You already seen the same structure play out over and over again. So why when you see it again that you won't execute? It's kind of that point. Okay, so looking for similar setup, looking for similar price action and structure, and pretty much continuously look for in different markets, different pair, so that your brain is programmed into thinking, the next time when I see something similar, I'm going to get ready to execute it. Okay. This is a good question, Ferdy. How to minimize trade on the fake breakout? Often we found it looks break the correctional structure, but it is not. Can you advise, please? That's an excellent question. I'm going to answer this. Let me just use Aussie Kiwi as an example. Okay, this is Aussie Kiwi. Okay, and that's a really good question, Ferdy, by the way, from YouTube. That I get this question a lot because a lot of time people enter prematurely. Okay, when they enter prematurely and then price start reversing down, they take a loss, right? That's pretty much what happened to a lot of people. Pretty much, I always talk about when I see a breakout from a structure, I'm not going to jump in here. I'm going to wait for some sort of a lower time frame correction. The lower time frame correction is usually a period of consolidation. It's not always like this. Whatever it is, it's going to look like the price is consolidating. It's like moving up and down slantedly, or is it very deep correctional channel, or is it a flag like this, or it's going to be a pennant or triangle, whatever the correctional structure will be. It's pretty much telling you that the price is correcting from the previous move, that we can potentially see the next up move. Okay, that is how I minimize fake breakout and a fake breakout to save a little bit of capital. Okay, I'm not saying this is bulletproof. Okay, I'm not saying this is guaranteed that we're going to get the next push up. What I'm saying is this is how I personally minimize a lot of losses during this area when prices just had some fake breakout and then just pretty much catching a lot of traders on the wrong side and then quickly drop down and taking out a lot of traders. That is how I prevent myself to get stuck into those kind of situation. Okay. Hey, no worries. Good to provide value. So, yeah. Any other question, guys? Any other question you would like me to answer? These are all good questions, by the way, guys. So you guys are really asking the right questions, really. That is really what I experienced when I'm in my beginning of my trading journey. So these are all really good questions, guys. I'll put my Telegram group here, guys. I do this a lot, so I'll put this in the chat just so you guys see it. Those of you who are first seeing this, I do this all on the Telegram, guys. So all the updates, all the analysis, all the streams, pretty much. So you get all the updates, so it's easier to follow me this way. Okay, those of you who are interested, go ahead. Happy to see you guys in my group. So anything else, guys? Anything else you want me to kind of go over? Happy to go over them. Like I said, still my favorite is Euro Kiwi, Aussie Cat, and Aussie Kiwi, which is already I'm in. Okay, so but Euro Kiwi is pretty much my favorite. Like I said, it's my pretty much go-to setup or my entry to take these positions. They're just the cleanest to me, especially when I see that the previous sell move that did not complete, but it's just forming this M style pattern I talk about all the time. So double top, top of overall correction, M style pattern. We had this ascending channel, and then we had this head and shoulder potentially forming as well. So just waiting for a lower time frame correction here. That is really all I need for. There's just a lot of good confluence here, and I know I'll say it again. I'm happy to take this trade over again as well. So waiting to see what will happen here and go from there. All right. Cool. Any other question, guys, before I end the stream? It was a pretty good session today. There was a good question. These are a lot of good questions as well. So I do like the questions from everyone. And feel free to ask me more questions in my Telegram. I do answer them as well. Just make sure you put an at me, because sometimes I apologize, guys. I know sometimes you guys message me on the Telegram, but I'm really busy. Okay, I'm sorry that I don't attend to it all the time. I try to if you do put an at, and I try to if it's like a really valid questions that I do want to take time to answer. If it's like some questions that I know other people in the group can answer, I usually don't answer. Okay, it's not that I don't want to answer. It's just I know others know the answer as that I would say, so I'm happy to let them say it. Okay. Gold. I did go over gold. Not too interesting in buy or sell. I know someone earlier was mentioning about a sell on gold, right? And I mentioned about yeah, it's valid, but like I said, the risk reward is not to me is there. Okay, it's too close to the lows. I'm not getting too much risk reward in here, and that's why I'm just happy to be on the sideline to see. And I mentioned on the daily, on the higher time frame, this could be a continuation. Okay, that's one way of seeing it, but on the intradays, you can still see potentially just continuation down more. So when it's not too clear on the higher time frame or lower time frame, it's just not matching, then I'm just happy to just stay on the sideline for that. All right, so that is what I see on gold. I would have jumped in after closing of the bear candle Euro Kiwi, but I'm learning to be patient for your advice. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys. This is how I trade. Doesn't mean you have to follow it or anything. It's just that I backtest. I continuously work on the trades that I have taken a loss on. I will look at it. I'll be like, hey, how come I'm taking the loss trade? And it's like that. The question that Ferdy asked on YouTube is about fake breakout. Yeah, back in the day in my trading career, I take a lot of these fake breakout trades and end up taking as a loss. So I started learning on them and I asked myself how to minimize, not completely remove, but how to minimize trade like that. And I understand, okay, wait for the first continuation correction. You may miss some pips, but you're going to be much safer. At the end of the day, you are trying to you need to have account. You need to have a capital to trade, right? You can't blow your account and have no money, then you pretty much cannot trade. So the best is to be conservative, have proper risk management. Yes, you miss a percentage, 1 or 2 there, but you're going to be safer that way, and you can grow your account, right? And with 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 Euro Kiwi, like you're saying, same idea is that a lot of times maybe I see a 1 hour candle like this, and then like okay, I'm gonna jump into the sell now, and then price just trickle down and potentially go up, and then just take me out for unnecessary loss. Why not just wait for a confirmation on the lower time frame? Like this looks to me is not too impulsive either, right? That's why I want to be a little bit more careful. This could be just a descending channel on the lower time frame and continue upwards. That's also a possibility. That's why I want to see that price is approaching. It's breaking on this channel now. Good. So let it continue down more, and then let it continue to form some sort of continuation, and I will get in this sell. Okay, and I'll be happy to get in this sell once I see something like this. Okay, and that's why that extra a little bit more patient is key, because yes, sometimes you can miss a trade, you need a a wider stop loss or whatever the case. But that's how trading is, guys. It's never going to be perfect the way you imagine. You're never going to put a stop sell like here, and then you're gonna see a target all the way down for like 10-20% or whatever you're gonna take, right? It's not feasible, it's not possible either. Okay, and that's why um, accept who you are as a trader. I think in my Telegram group, somebody mentioned that. I think that was a very good point. Is that yes, I trade this way, and my trading plan, my style is this. That doesn't mean you have to do the same. Okay, you can style and plan, and that could be better than mine, right? And I'd be happy if you can be a better trader than me, right? I'm not here to compete with you. I'm actually here to pass on my information to everyone, so everyone could be a better trader, right? It's not a competition. It's not that if you do better than me, I'm gonna hate on you or anything. It's actually the opposite, right? So learn from others and then develop your own thing and tweak it so that you can be a better trader, right? I'm taking this kind of trade, but you don't mind, right? And then you end up saving some money, and I took a loss, right? Whereas a trade that I would usually wouldn't take, and then you took it based on your trading plan, and you gave profit, and I did not, right? Very similar. So all these things can happen. It's just how you see yourself as a trader, and how to continue work on yourself to be a better trader, so that you can be consistent. Times is that when you're not consistent, like I mean, sorry, you have to be very consistent to stay in this game, right? To stay in the game of trading, right? It's not about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months you make money. Can you make money 6 months, a year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year? Continue like that, right? Because it's a long game. The longer you can be consistent, the easier your account will compound, because it will just compound at a compounding rate, right? That's how we trade, because we want more money, right? Everyone's trading because we want to earn more money. It's simple fact, right? So you want to turn your money into a bigger sum of money, then work on your trading and be consistent. Do the math, right? Get a compounding calculator showing you just simple, consistent percentage per month. You can grow your account in no time, right? But a lot of people want instant gratification. They want to go from 0 to 100 right away, and usually fail in between, and then give up halfway through or very close to the finishing line, right? This game is going to reward to the people who are going to stay consistent throughout the game, put in your on top, right? It's as simple as that. Okay, but because today we're living in this social media world, things are just happening too quick. Okay, you forget that any business takes 5-10 years to be consistent, right? Yes, you see a lot of people on social media, those influencers making a lot of money. Yeah, but you don't know their story, right? Maybe they spent 5-10 years to this stage. You don't know how much hard work they put in. You don't know how their status is, right? So don't just judge on what you see, right? It's about the inner self and behind the scenes, so to speak, right? They say that one thing on the stage for a minute is 10 years off the stage, right? There's a saying like that. So what you see in a minute, that's so easy for them to perform, but they take 10 years to master it. Okay, it's like that, right? So trading is no different, guys. Put in the time and effort, right? Jot down your result, have a good trading plan, have a good risk management plan, and have a clear clue on what you want as a trader. What are you trying to get, right? Yes, of course you want to get money, but what more, like be a little bit more define it, right? Like, is it per month? How much return you want to have per month? And how do you want to grow your account? Are you going to have more capital to deposit, right? Have a plan, write it out, right? Go over it with people, see if it makes sense, then try to hit the goals on that plan, and you will be surprised at how trading is related to your daily life so much more. What you do in trading reflects on your daily life so much that your life naturally becomes so much uh, better, because you're just on track. You're following your plan, exercising your plan as well, right? You're going to do better in life. You're going to be more active. You're going to be more positive, and sooner or later, everything in life is going to be better, and you're just going to be very happy. And this is the right choice you made, and move on like that, right? That was a speech. Hope you guys all get that. That was quite a bit. Your plan allows for two similar trades. Is Aussie Kiwi, Euro Kiwi two similar trades? Your limit for Kiwi, yeah. I mean, what I mean is, I'm only gonna maximum open two trades of the same currency. So if I was going to Euro Kiwi, that's fine. But I won't enter another Kiwi trade unless one of them is at break even or in profit. Hope that makes sense. Sorry, yeah, I went on talking for a while. So that's what your question on Aussie Kiwi, Euro Kiwi. Um, Kiwi CAD, sure. Kiwi Cat. To be honest, I'm not seeing too much. I don't know if you guys remember. I was looking at Kiwi Cat differently. Like I was looking at uh that price did not continue after this low. Okay, there was a few sell here, right? I mentioned this is back in July or something. Price did not continue after this. There was no correction to continue, and then price popped to price popped to the upside, and then I had a buy position here. I remember that got off for 1% or so. I can't remember, but I was looking at the previous top as a potential target, and there was not enough. The price did not reach the previous top. So, and then now when I see this kind of happening, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay out for now. I do see this as a head and shoulder pattern as well. So if they're going to form a correction here, potentially the sell can continue. But that's about it. That's all I see. And higher time frame wise, is a little bit messy what I'm seeing here. This is not even an M style pattern to me. This is just kind of a push down and then push up. Excuse me. And because we're sitting at the top of the structure now, the time frame, this is potentially a descending channel I'm looking. And potentially that if we're going to get rejection or like prices not breaking above, then this potentially can come down, right? But I need a little bit more price development here. Wait to see what the price will do at this low. But I do see the sell here as well, but again, it's not going to get me 3-1 anyway, so I'm not too interested in the sell. Okay, so that is Kiwi Cat. So any other question, guys? Any other questions before I end the stream? Very good questions, guys. Those of you guys who are new, feel free to join my group, and you can ask me questions there or ask other people questions. I think everyone is happy to answer as well. Okay. So any other question before I end the stream, guys? Yeah, thank you, guys. So, like I said, I'm only in Aussie Kiwi. That's the only trade I'm in right now. And like I said, also that I will look at Euro Kiwi for a possible trade. I'll stay out for an hour maybe or so, and then we'll see what happens. And then I'll wake up early in the New York session. I'll try to wake up around like 5 or 6 a.m. for my time. So like just right before New York session. So I'll get like maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep just to see if Euro Kiwi develop anything, and I'll look to execute it if I see it to my liking. Okay. But other than that, that is all. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for tuning to this one, and everyone on the next week weekly outlook, and I will see everyone there. All right. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, guys.